This is Donna, and we are live in Cincinnati at Lori Foster's Reader and Author Get Together. And I met Alanea last night. We went down to her slumber party, and we got to watch a marathon of Supernatural, which my friend Trish couldn't believe I wasn't watching. I have to admit, we actually went back to the room and watched another episode. She wanted me to watch the cat fever one, and so we watched that last night. That was her favorite. And so after meeting her last night, we really, I wanted to get to know her better, and so I asked her if we could interview her, and Trish has already bought 2 of her books.
Oh, nice.
And so I know she's going to read the whole series because she bought like 7 and 8 because you were already sold out. So
wow. Okay.
She's hoping there's some snuck behind for the signing.
There'll be a few.
So she'll be first in line probably. So I did, just tell us a little bit about yourself and the books that you're writing.
Well, I've only been writing for about 4 years, so I still consider myself kind of new to the industry, but I've been a lifetime reader. So I started reading at a very young age, and I know at a certain point I read out the young adult section of the local library, and I think I was around 13. So the librarian felt comfortable enough to walk me over to the sci-fi section, and so I, cut my teenage years with like Anne McCaffrey and Terry Brooks, Orson Scott Card. So like I spent my whole life reading, and then I attended a conference in 2013, and I remember hearing other authors talk, and I was like, I wonder if I could do that. And I'm like, I think I can do that. So I started writing just smaller novels, just for fun, just to see if I could do it. And then when the opportunity came to basically quit my job, get laid off, whatever, seventh situation, I took it. And I turned to writing my first full-length novel, and I self-published that. I think it was in 2014, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And because as a reader, my favorite genre is paranormal romance, so that's what I was writing in. So that's the genre that I'm in right now.
And I'd say that story that you talked about last night, it was so just encouraging for me because Kinsey, who is with us, is an aspiring writer, and I was like, girl, in 4 years, I mean, and I know it was a lot of work. I'm not telling people it's like a get quick, rich. Okay, that one. It's not that, but I think that's so encouraging for aspiring writers out there to know you can do it.
Yeah. And I run a self-publishing workshop on the second part of the afternoon on both days. Because when I started, there was no resources, none whatsoever. So I was reaching out to authors, and I was like, hey, how do you find an editor? What do you do? What is the expectation? Now there's a lot of resources, but it's a lot easier now than it was 5-6 years ago. So
I think a lot of you did all the research, and it was pretty new. I mean, self-publishing, 10 years ago, there wasn't a lot of it.
Yeah. And I think maybe as the industry has grown, when we all first started, I think as readers, they're a little bit more lenient. So we're sticking our finger in the socket, and then they're a lot more forgiving of like maybe a few typos, or we're still working out the kinks on the book cover and it didn't quite line up right, or we don't know what to do on Facebook. And you're on Facebook going, how do I do a page? What do I do in a group? So I think not only has the authors grown in the past 5 years, but I think the whole community has grown in the past 5 years.
That's a good point. Yeah, because the readers probably still expect.
They expect it, but I've actually seen readers or bloggers step up and say, hey, I've seen that happen. This is the author that it happened to. Here's how they helped. Or, hey, you should reach out to so-and-so. And they have nothing to do with the industry, but they're a part of the community. And I've seen more than one reader do that.
Oh, wow. We've been talking about just being here has been so wonderful just to see so many people work together. And just, you guys just have such a great community.
This is my 3rd year here, and I absolutely love this conference. It's my favorite conference to go to. I'll probably, as long as she hosts it, I'll probably be here.
Yeah, and she has her own boardroom.
I do have a boardroom. I'm very much like my main character, and I'm slightly introverted, and I don't like a lot of loud noise. So one of the things I aim to offer other readers is a reader lounge. And it's a coffee and tea bar, and it's quiet, and you just want a place to sit down and talk. So, but from my perspective, I love it because that's my one-on-one time with a reader, and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were like that, or I was like, I was so scared to come up and talk to you, and I'm like, I am the biggest idiot. Please just come up and talk to me, Like, trust me, I'm not that scary.
But it is, I think it's very intimidating for the
Yeah.
readers, and so it's always good to hear that, yes, come talk to me.
And people are more comfortable to come up and talk to you in a room with only 8 to 10 people in it,
Yeah.
as opposed to maybe in the atrium, and you actually. I know as a reader, I would walk up to somebody, and an author may have like a lot of people around them, but you don't know that that's their PA, maybe their mom, you know, and it's like, it looks like the entourage, and they're intimidated to walk up into that. So that's another reason I love the boardroom, is like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, come in anytime. So.
Well, because I think we're always worried about bothering you.
Oh yeah,
You know?
and I told my PA Brenna, I'm like, we need a bigger sign that says "Come in." You know,
Yeah.
please just come in.
Yeah, anytime. So tell us about the series that Trish, you were telling us about last night that Trish fell in love with.
Well, it's the Bewitched and Bewildered series, and it's the series that started my self-publishing career. And what I did was, when I started that series, I wrote down everything that I loved about paranormal mysteries, or I'm sorry, paranormal romance. So it was like, I like bear shifters, I like the alpha type. But I also like strong females, and there's a very fine line between strong and obnoxious. Because I think, and you know, some other books I've read, she's brash and abrasive, and you as a reader, that's a turn off for me. So I wanted a strong female that didn't compromise. And so a lot of my heroines, they are geeky and introverted, and they don't change, you know. And so it's him adapting to her, as opposed to her, and even though she's the one entering the paranormal world, he's trying to learn. He calls it, like, for example, she's a huge like sci-fi person, and he calls it Star Trek Wars. And so she's like, no, it's two. So eventually he's starting to learn her lingo, because, you know, he's like, I don't understand what she says at all, anytime. And not that she doesn't have fun, because I was telling you yesterday, like, one of the major scenes that everyone loves is she sends him to the store to get tampons, because she's convinced, like, the way she's explained it, she didn't lie, but the way she's explained it, he thinks she has internal bleeding. So she sends him to the store, and like I said, all 5 men gear up. They think it's a mission, and they go into the store, and they literally think of just 5 military guys standing in the middle of the aisle comparing. It's like, why is it a plus? Why is it a minus? Well, this is the absorbing, like, capabilities. And so it's just one scene after another, and it just kind of goes from there. And they have so much, like, I have so much fun writing those books, and I'll write a scene and I can't wait. I'm like, I wish I could publish it right now so I could show this to everybody. Or I'll put like a teaser online and like start getting the feedback, like, we hate you, we want more, why are you doing this instead of writing? I'm like, well, I just wanted to share. So, but yeah, and then, like I said, every female has something to bring to the, not only to the couple, but also to the storyline. So I just wrapped up a 5-book series where one of the main threats was a engineered virus. So fate had wove her weave, and the mates ended up being a hematologist, a pediatrician, a nurse, and that's how, you know, that's how they came together to kind of help, you know, fight this common threat. But now I'm in book 10. I finished book 10, and I'm taking a slight hiatus with that series because I have another one I want to get going. It's in a completely different genre, and I'm going to try my hand at paranormal mystery.
Oh.
So I'm going to try to expand just a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. So do you feel like that's like challenging you and like pushing you?
I think so, and I want to keep pushing, and I want to keep challenging and seeing what I can and can't do. And like I said, this industry and how we work, there has never been a time where I've asked for help and I've never gotten it. So if I'm stuck on maybe how to set up the mystery and the flow, and should she be discovering this early, or how do you know, I know I can reach out to someone and get help. So, and it's like I said, it's almost like a challenge. Like, all right, let's see what the limits are here. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So I was going to ask, like, how does writing like excite you? Which it sounds like it does. Just watching you talk about it, can it be exhausting?
Well, it's exciting when you have those types of scenes to share, or you have a character that you're very passionate or excited about. My book 8, there was a character, her name was Ellie, and so she was very insecure about her weight. And so I put a lot of my past experiences in that, and I couldn't wait to share her. You know, I was very excited for her. But it can be exhausting, especially if you don't pace yourself. And I don't. I wait for the last minute. I rush. I pull my hair out. I get, unhealthy habits. There's sugar-free Red Bull and caffeine and Diet Mountain Dew and beef jerky, and I just sit at my desk for like a week. But then there's like the tedious parts of it too, and I tend to tell everybody that's like the fillers. So you have your bullet points at the main scenes, and those are the exciting parts. But then you have the middle part where you have to get person from A to B. And like, well, he said this, and then she turned here, and then he, So it's all the stuff that makes the story the entire book, and that can be a little bit exhausting.
Yeah, I can see that. Because you want to get to the exciting stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, for readers that go to a conference like this, and for authors, what would you recommend? Any advice for them when they come to it?
I would almost, as an author, recommend attending it first as a reader.
Oh.
That way you see what other authors are doing. You have a kind of a clear set of expectations of what does and doesn't happen. And so, for example, I went to one conference, and if you were not a sponsor, you as an author had no opportunity to talk to the readers. And you wouldn't have known that had you not gone first, or the types of events that were happening. Is it really your speed? One set of conferences, sometimes they rely heavily on just all social interactions. There's no panels, there's no workshops, and it loses some of the structure. But it's basically the organizer will say, okay, you as authors schedule stuff. And you're like, oh God, just tell me how many books to bring. Just tell me what to do. But yeah, for an author, I would recommend just attend it first as a reader, have fun, go to the events, go to the ballrooms, go to the workshops, and see what you would do different, and then do it. And then as a reader, the same thing. Don't be afraid to walk up to a new author. I always say if you go to a convention for one person, you're doing it wrong. So while you're here, you've spent the money, make sure you walk around and talk to everyone. Talk to the other readers in line, because I guarantee it, you will walk away with a couple of recommendations. So I guess those are the two main things for both the readers and the authors.
And I love to share, when I signed up for the conference to come with my friend, I had only read one author here. And as I started researching, I'm going to leave with a ton of new authors, and that's always exciting. You're always looking for that next favorite book.
Yeah.
And so I definitely see that. And some, we were talking to people, and they're sharing their favorite authors, or we meet, in a slumber party.
Yep.
So,
and that's, like I said, that's another reason why the boardrooms to me are so much fun, and you have that chit chat time. For example, when we were at dinner, I had my phone out, a notepad, and I'm writing, I'm putting down names of books and stuff. And even as authors, we do the same thing. We fangirl over each other sometimes, it's just one big experience.
Yeah. No, it's been wonderful. So I was going to ask, what is the best money you've spent as a writer?
God, it's been so much money. Okay, so the writing software that I use is Scrivener.
Oh.
It's just $40, but that is what I use to write in and format all of my e-copy books. And by doing so, you save money because you're not paying somebody else to do it. So to me, that is money well spent. Doing conventions. I don't do that many because it can get a little bit pricey, but I do like doing them, and it's a way to get that face-to-face time. Because as a writer, I spend a lot of time in my office behind my computer, and so this is my chance to come out and talk and be with people. So I would say, the software, that it makes everything easy, and especially it also syncs to Dropbox. So I can take my iPad out and work on it. I can take my laptop out and work on it. I can go upstairs to the office and work on it, and it helped me be more mobile, basically.
Well, and not lose it if you had a hard drive crash.
Or lose a flash drive, and then your mind.
You speak like that's happened.
A couple times, actually, and that's when I learned my lesson, and it's no, I'm putting everything in the cloud.
So talk a little about, because you mentioned that you're self-publishing.
Yes.
So any advice for authors?
I would definitely say, like I said, if you have any questions, ask. But I also offer a series of videos on YouTube, and what I do is I keep a running list of questions. There's a place to submit questions on the forum, and what I do is I just let it accumulate for a while, and then I'll sit down and do a video, and I'll just go through maybe 1 through 30. And I try, of course I skip repeat questions, but it's common questions that everybody would have. And it's even at 4 years in, and I'm considered new, there's a lot I forgot already about that first year. And so by answering these questions, it brings it back, and I want to be able to answer them before I forget. You know, because I forget now how intimidating and how overwhelming it is that first year. And then I also have a Pinterest board that is self-publishing tips, and it's only a couple up there now. But you know, it's the should I have a pen name, and should I have a website, and so just very basic. So like if you're just interested and start clicking through, there'll definitely be more coming. So as I get more questions.
And we will include those links to that on the website. So, we're gonna say hello to my daughter. She's watching. Hey, okay, and so I'll just ask. The last question is, what would you want readers to get out of your books?
Smile. That's my number one kind of goal is I want to give them a book that they can pick up time and time again and laugh and smile and enjoy it. I've gotten more than one email saying, you know, and it's tragic stuff. I've lost my mother, or I'm battling cancer. They're like, your book was the first time I laughed in a year. And so getting stuff like that, I was like, I want people to enjoy the book, but then I want them to be just as eager to reread it as they were to read it. So that's my takeaway.
Wow, that is awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
It was so fun meeting her last night, and we highly recommend checking out her books and her website, because she's got a lot of great information out on there. Thanks.